Here is Blunder, and this horse just absolutely cracks me up. He got a big mouthful of grass on the way out to the ring, and then Billy said he looked like a rabbit, which is just hilarious and so true. And then my hounds were out in the woods, and so that caught his attention. But God, the horse is just so goofy, and he cracks me up from his back and on the ground. Anyway, Blunder is a 16 two-hand, big-bodied 16 two-hand, 6-year-old gelding by Exaggerator, who is out of who is by Curlin. So this is a Curlin line, and I just tend to love these horses that are by Curlin or out of a Curlin line. So this is his second post-track ride. We've switched from a metal egg butt to the duo. This is a loose ring duo, so a soft rubber bit. And he was much happier in this bit, I thought. A lot less opening of his mouth. Not perfect, but less. And a lot less pulling through. Actually, I don't think he pulled through at all on this ride, which was awesome. I still think he gets a little bit below the vertical, or behind the vertical, I should say, at times. But that's just training and strength and developing top line. And it was less today, so I thought we were going in the right direction. I did not intend on introducing him to all the poles and baby fillers in my ring today. But, well, we started with the pile of poles to get the left lead canter. And he was so awesome about that. And he seemed like he was having such a fun time doing it that one thing led to another. He just seemed like he was having fun, which is what I want them to be doing when they're being introduced to poles and jumping. So we just kept going, and the horse was absolutely brilliant and perfect. And we just had such a fun ride. I just was, God, he's just a cool horse, and he made me smile. And this ride is really like my favorite moments. Like the best part of restarting thoroughbreds is when you get to do stuff like this, and just reminds you how blindly trusting these thoroughbreds can be when they've been well handled and so handled for their entire lives. You know, he has no clue what's going on. This is just his second post-track ride, but just such a lovely way of going, such a great brain, and just so willing to give it a go. I just love them so much. So corny. Apologies for being super corny. So anyway, this is our warm-up. We were trotting around. He always makes a great shape. Super soft in his mouth. He always wants to fall through his right shoulder in that corner, so I always feel like I'm kicking him around that corner with my right leg. Super nice frame coming down this long side here. And he was great. I'd only been on him for a couple minutes, but I thought, okay, this is great. Let's see about this left lead. Look at that. Perfect instincts. What a good boy. I was really, really happy with that. So in his first post-track ride, we did get the left lead a few times, but we got it every time through a change, which is fine. But I do think that it is more beneficial for their actual training and development to get it over the poles versus the change. I sort of use the change, when I'm just sort of trying to be quick and not drag things out, because you don't always know that they're just going to pop over the poles like he did. You cannot take that for granted. I have almost fallen off numerous times just assuming a horse will calmly walk over poles, and then they can do all sorts of insane things just trying to walk over a pole. So he made that look very easy. It is not always that easy. So I thought that was great once. Let's see if that was luck or not and try it a second time. And there you go, not luck. The horse is brilliant. So after he did that twice in a row really nicely, great instincts, great balance, and he is, he's going over the poles with what looks to be like a nice natural form. So I thought, okay, that was super easy and fun. Let's now see if we can just go over our flowers. My leather was driving me nuts. It was sort of like riding up under my leg. Explanation for what that was. He's so chill though. So then we changed directions, walked over the poles to the right, no problem, as I didn't expect it would be. So then I thought, okay, let's see what he thinks about walking over some flowers. And again, just perfect little instincts, super straight, super happy to do it. He's also being really good because my hounds are out, and they are, of course, terrorizing us by sort of stalking us around the fence line of the ring the whole time. And he was really amazing about ignoring that. He was happy to do the flowers going away from the gate, which I know sounds like such a silly thing, but I cannot tell you how many times I've been on a horse happy to do something, happy as a clam to do something towards the gate, and then you turn it away, you take that incentive out of the equation, and all of a sudden it's like you're asking them to, climb Mount Everest. It's like impossible to get them to do it away from the gate. So it always says a lot about their brain and willingness when they're happy to even just walk over poles going away from the gate. Sounds so silly, but it really tells you a lot. Good boy. This ride was fun because we were really just sort of messing around, just seeing what he wanted to do. And he just really seemed like he was having a good time. I was I think his frame looks really nice there. I'm really happy with that. He looks very calm and settled in his mouth. Super mature boy about ignoring the hounds on the side of the ring. A little bit of pulling through there as I sort of changed the turn and asked him to turn sooner. That's why he was opening his mouth there. Super cute. Good boy. So lovely there. He just needs so little help from his rider to make the correct shape and to stay balanced. That was a better turn. Even better the second time. Brilliant horse. So at some point here, I think I walk and I say to Billy, "Oh, excuse me, I asked for the right canter." And then I thought, well, let's just see. If I come towards these flowers in the canter, what will he do? Oh, I cantered around once. Sorry, I'm forgetting about my ride, forgetting about some segments of my ride. He has quite a brilliant canter. So there he gets just a little behind the vertical. That's actually him being wild. That's his wild side. He sort of wants to dip his head down, and sometimes he'll do like a little tiny head shake, and that's him being a crazy version of himself. So we came in the canter. He wasn't quite ready to sort his feet out, so no problem. We just broke to the trot and he popped over it. So then I thought, okay, he's doing amazing. Nothing I've asked of him yet has stressed him out in any way, shape, or form. He keeps rising to the occasion. Let's see if he minds just walking over the coop. And surely enough, he doesn't care. I love his shape there. He's really light in the contact. If anything, actually, he probably needs to take a little bit more feel of the bit, but it's a work in progress. It's better than it was the first ride, and I'm never going to complain about a horse that's light and soft. Super instincts coming in the trot. So we came a second time, and this time, well, he'd already been over it twice, so he wasn't very impressed anymore. We should have made it a cross rail or something, because he didn't quite bother to pick up his feet the third time he went over the coop, which is no big deal. That just means it's time to go on to something else. So next we come to my raised flower box without flowers, and we do this in increments. We do the raised flower box, missing the flowers, and then we ended with the raised flower box with the flowers. So straight. I mean, just like wildly brave and straight and easy. He makes a really cute shape, but doesn't overjump it, doesn't land and, squeal and bolt off a little bit. He's just, I mean, just what an easy, pleasant horse. I think I rode him one-handed down that long side because I was simultaneously looking for my hounds and calling for them. And just what an awesome horse that on his second post-track ride, he's going to let me do that. So now here's the big scary one with the flowers. Perfect horse. I actually thought that was his nicest jump.